Hello, welcome to the Iron Orchid Designs page. My name is Shannon and I'm with Pickin Boots Vintage. I have this beautiful dresser behind me. I bought it like this. You can't see the full thing in the picture. It's a big mirror that goes up. You'll see it later, but I wanted to have it zoomed in so you can see what we're doing. It's kind of plain. It's beautiful, but it's kind of plain. When I bought it, it was already white. I just felt like it needed a little bit more, so what we're going to do today is we're going to be using the Roses mold. It's gorgeous. It has different sizes of the roses. It has the big, it has mediums, and it has the full blooms, and then it has some of the little, just some of like the little buds. The buds come in 3 different sizes. Let me show you. So those are the buds. Sometimes when you put the molds on, you put them on and then you paint the whole dresser and then you go, and it's all just blended together. Well, I was thinking that it just needed a little pop of color. So I was playing, and here's one example. I did this one. So it's like hot pink. I just used some mica powder in the mold and then some green down here. But then when I put it up here, I just thought that, let me see. I just thought that that was too bright, too much. So what we're going to do today, though, is we're going to use some muted colors. I have an example to show you, but then I'm going to show you how we get it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, here is the big rose. So see this on here? Now look at that. It's more muted. And then we have the greenery, the vines, and that's going to be in a green. Look at that. So it's going to be a little bit more neutral, a little bit more warm. Not as bright. Of course you can do whatever color you want, but these are the colors that I chose. See, so this is a brown and then this is a green. So let me show you how to get this look. And then we are going to play. I kind of have it laid out. I'm going to put some on this first drawer here. And then I'm going to put some at the bottom of the mirror. And then I'm going to put some up in the upper right hand corner of the mirror. And that is what we have for today. So first things first, I'm going to put on some gloves because the medium I am going to be working with today is kind of dirty. And I want to make sure, I don't want to get it all over my fingers. I'm a very messy crafter and I'm going on vacation on Wednesday and I don't want to have brown stuff all over my fingernails. We're doing the roses in antique brown, and then we're going to do the leaves and stems a olive green color. So I'm going to get both of them out and I'm going to just show you how easy it is to tint. So let's start with this one. Here's just some leaves. And I'm going to take my, just a regular brush. And I'm going to be using the green. So let me come up close. So I'm just simply brushing it on. Getting into all the amazing details that these molds have. Because you know, IOD, they don't do anything the easy way. They have it all perfectly detailed. The leaf has so many vines, lines, what are they called? Yeah, I think they're called veins in the leaves. All right, so let me get that. So I could leave it like this, but nah. I'm gonna take my little rag, just a cotton rag, and I'm just going to lightly wipe or dab off. And then look what we have. Look at those leaves. Look how beautiful. And they're muted, so they're not gonna be as bright green as, say, grass or anything, but they're just muted, so it's going to look appropriate on this dresser because the white is very bright and stark. So I'm going to put these down here to dry. I have some more leaves, so I might as well go do all the leaves. Now, I used on here the quick dry resin because I knew on this video if I was trying to make 1,000,000 air dry clay vines and roses and rosebuds, that we would be here all day. So I figured if I just went ahead and cast them in the resin real quick, well, not real quick because I still had to pour it, let it dry, but these will be easier to just stick up real quick. And I didn't have to totally wait for them to dry. All right, so here's another leaf, and I'm just going to again dab it with my rag. Now, let's say that I put this on and when I'm wiping it back, I took too much off. All I need to do is simply just go ahead and I can reapply a little bit more. and dab it off again. All right, so I'm going to put this up here because I have already laid out a certain layout in some areas, so I want to make sure that I keep it. So I have some more leaves. I'm going to do a couple more leaves, and then we're going to go ahead and do our roses. Now, you might think, why is she doing roses brown? But you know what? It just looks nice. And if I want to, I can add a little bit more detail over it, because what this antiquing gel is doing is it's putting it in basically into the cracks. It's tinting the whole thing, but it's really, really, really staying in the cracks, or I could say valleys. So I could come back over it on top with something to do the peaks to give it a little bit of dimension. I did do one thing, I'll show you in just a second, but it kind of totally changed the look that I was going for, but I'll show it to you. Let me just dab this one off. Now see how it just gets into the crevices, or the valleys? Now the parts that stick up are called the peaks, so you could definitely put something on those. Let me show you what I did here. I used the antiquing gel, and then I put some gold gilding on top. So it makes it a little bit two-dimensional, well, more dimensional, because you have the underlying color and then you have the gold on top. I did the same thing with the rose, which I thought was really pretty, but it's not the look that I'm going for on this piece. So I have the antiquing gel, and then I have some gilding wax on top. Isn't that beautiful? On the right piece, this would be gorgeous, but it's just not this piece. I could still go back and add maybe something not so bright like that gold, maybe a little bit of bronze, but we're going to do this first. I'm going to do one more leaf, and then we're going to go ahead and do our brown roses. No, they're not dead. They're just muted. There we go. We got our last one dabbed off. Now we can proceed to the brown ones. I have one more leaf here, but we might not use that. If I need to use it, we'll antique it later. Now we're going to go to the brown. This is just an antique gel. You just take your brush and you stick it on. It is water-based, so it's easy clean up. Let me get up here a second. And see how it just goes? Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. The antiquing gels, they come in all different colors. They have turquoise and green and everything, but I just wanted this to be muted. Look how pretty that is. And it's the same, just like the green. You're just going to dab it off. Just so, or white. You can dab white, whatever you want to do. And then look. It just stays in the valleys or the crevices of the piece, just to show the dimension. And we've got a bunch of these little guys to do. Here is a little bud on the Roses mold. There are all different sizes of the roses, like I said. But definitely messy, so if you have gloves, wear them. If not, it is water-based, but it's just easier because I am quite messy, and I'll have it everywhere. All right, and now let me show you this one. This is like a full bloom of the rose. It's kind of hard to see in the camera because of the bright lights, but once I put the antiquing gel on it, watch it pop. You'll really be able to see it once I dab or wipe it off. And I'm using a brush because it helps get into the crevices of the roses. There we go. See how beautiful that is? Wow. All right. Look how big this one is. This one is gorgeous, but you'll be able to see it pop a little bit more once I get this antiquing gel on here. Now look at that detail. See that? Isn't that gorgeous? All right, just a few more roses, and then we're going to start decorating. Ta-da! And there's a little bud. Isn't that pretty? A couple more. I want to do one more big one. And you could actually mix colors. Like I could take the antique gel. I could put a little bit of the green in here too and just mix them. But again, I just want it to be simple. Simple, warm, yet different. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Love, love, love. A few more of the little guys. Just because these little guys, see that? They add so much little detail when you're, because if you've ever seen rose bushes, there are always these little buds sticking out, and that just, to me, it represents new life, growing. And here's a bigger one. Let's do this one. See, this is why you wear gloves. Look at my fingers. I could do it like on, brown paper on the table, but isn't that a beautiful bud? Look at the detail. Ooh. So there's a small a medium, and then the big one I just did. Let's do one more. Again, I can always come back and do a few more if I need to. I did cast a lot of them, and I have some IOD clay handy and ready if I need to make any more molds. Plus, the difference between the resin and the air-dried clay is the clay is beautiful because if you need to go bend it around a corner or something, you can put the clay in, pull it out, paint it real quick, and then glue it on, and you can bend it, and it'll dry bent like that. With the resin, you can't really do it unless you pull the resin out of the mold a little bit early and just kind of bend it. I did do that with stem because this is how the stem comes in the mold. But I took it out a little early and I bent it just in case I wanted a bent flower because I don't think all of them stand perfect because sometimes they get a little top heavy and I think they bent. I don't know. I don't have any rose bushes, but you've seen how messy those are. Okay. There are several ways you can get these on. You can use wood glue. You can, I'm gonna use some heavy body gel. It's just another kind of crafting glue. You can use your pin nailer. Let's go ahead and the first one I'm gonna put on, I'm gonna start here. And I'm gonna start with this big guy right here. And I'm gonna put the rose right about there. Now, normally I would be working on this laying down or the drawer out. Well, the drawer, when I pulled it out to do it that way, there's some kind of a, the guide for the drawer. It doesn't let it sit straight, so I would have knocked it over and over and over and over. So I do have my blue tape ready if I want to use it, but I also have my pin nailer ready too. And with the resin, sometimes I just pin nail it and it holds it in place. The only problem with the pin nailer is it doesn't always go all the way through the drawer. So sometimes I either need to, I'll pull it out with my needle nose pliers, or I'll just take a hammer and hammer it in. I don't have a heavy duty pin nailer. So sometimes, all right, we're gonna stick that right about there. What do you think so far? All right, so here's my pin nail. I'm just gonna give it one pin just so it stays in place. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the leaves on. This is just some heavy body gel. You can use wood glue, and I'm sure there's other crafting glue you can use too, but this is just my glue of choice. And we're going to stick this like here. Ooh, what do you think with the colors? They're kind of muted, so they're not so bright or hot pink or red. So far, it looks like it's staying pretty good without me pin nailing it. I like it. All right, so now I have this little rose. This is the full one. And I'm going to stick this one right here. Turn that up just a tad. You can still manipulate them while the glue is not totally dry yet. There we go. Now, if you know anybody that's been wanting to use the resin on a piece of furniture, make sure you share it. Share it with them, tag them in it. Let them know how easy it really is. I think the hardest part is probably picking the colors. All right. So this is just me putting the glue on, and I'm just using a palette knife, spreading it even. I'm using one that's it's glossy, but it'll dry clear. We're gonna go right here. Sometimes when I make stuff, I like it so much I end up taking it home. All right. I think I might just pin nail that one just in case. All right, so that one did not go all the way through. It's either because I didn't put enough pressure or because I moved the gun. So I'm just gonna, I have my little teeny hammer here. I'm just gonna hammer it in just a bit. There we go, perfect. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add the buds here. And then we're going to move on to the upper part of the dresser. It really doesn't take that much glue. Ta-da! And you'll notice I'm not making it a balance. Like I have a big rose over here, but I'm not putting a big rose over here. I'm choosing to use the smaller to kind of offset it. Yeah. Ta-da! Yay! So you're seeing the reflection, but this is the top of the dresser, and now this is what we are going to be working on. So we're going to put this probably right about here, and I like the idea of it hanging over. I like that. If I chose to use air dry clay, I could bend it and it could stick to the inside of the molding, but I like the way that it sticks out because it sticks out on both sides. So here's up close, and I'm just gonna spread some of this stuff on it, the glue, making sure I get it all over because even the parts that might stick off, I just don't know exactly how I'm gonna put it on yet, so that's why I want the glue to be everywhere. It'll dry clear, so I am fine. And we're going to stick it probably, let's do it like that. Move it down just a little bit. There. Let me just see if this is going to work because I really don't want to pin nail it because I'm not sure how far that mirror goes behind it. And I really don't want to break the mirror. Oh. All right, so let's go ahead and do some leaves. So this gives you a better angle of like the colors and how it looks on this white. I'm just going to hold it. It seems to be staying pretty good. There we go. Now, it's still a little bit bendable, so I'm just going to hold that for a second and hope that it stays on there. I'm going to do one more bud right there just to finish this off. So I'm just going to put this on and get all the excess off. Stick this right in here. Hold it for a minute. There's that part. Now we need to talk about this part. What am I going to do here? So I'm thinking that we should probably use another big one. A big one and just some vines, maybe a few buds. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this on. Hold it for just a minute, and then I'm gonna pin nail over here because I know the mirror is not there. There we go. So vines, let's go this way, maybe with this one. There we go. On this one here, I removed one of the leaves, figuring that I was going to put some of the buds there, so I think it's gonna work nice. And all I did was, I just bent it and it snapped off when I took it out of the mold. All right, so there we go. Look at that. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different buds that we can use. Right now, we're going to fill in a lot of these little buds. Put one here. I'm going to put another one here. Now I have one more, and I think I know exactly where I want to put it, but I just got to get this guy to stick. Stay. Okay, there's that. Ta-da! Now, I didn't use any of these. I could have. These are stems, and they would have been totally cool to like do like some flowers going upside, but this scheme, it just didn't work with it, but I'll definitely keep those for another project. You guys have a fabulous day, and thank you for joining me. Have a fabulous day.